for the purpose of this video, I'm just going to make this quickly because I run into a lot of little Makokos in the game. Okay, I actually do. And I sit there late at night talking to these little new players, and a lot of them are lost on what they should do to get their character rolling a little bit faster beyond what the game tells you. Because the game actually doesn't do a great job of telling you what material sources are available to you. And I have to explain this every time, and I wish they would do a better job, but they don't. So I'm going to quickly go over the things that you should do when you use one of these express events, because there's a lot of classes coming out this summer and you might be dabbling back into the game, or maybe you took a break, etc. So when you get into the game, okay, right now there is a story express. This will not always be here, but when it's up, it ends actually on June 14th. So you'll have time with Slayer. And if you're brand new, you're going to use this express event to level from 0, from level 1. It basically guides you through the entire MSQ of the game, but it basically gives you a free ride to 1340 without really having to do any honing, okay? So you're just gonna be doing this event. You select your character, it's rolling, you play through the story, you get to 1340, and you get all of this juice when you finish it, and this is gonna be great if you're new, okay? This is gonna be great if you're new. You're gonna want all this. Plus, it's just easy honing. Then, when you get to 1340, there's a thing called Hyper Express, which is another event. I've used it currently on my artist. I absolutely regret it. Let me actually show you really quickly. Make sure that you pick the right character, because if you pick the wrong character, you've kind of wasted it. However, when you are going through the game, you will get, if you're new, free character boosts. If you ever played World of Warcraft, you're going to get these, like, you know, when you pay for a character boost, you're going to get multiple of them. So the character that you select in the beginning isn't really as important as the character you select for the Hyper Express. Okay? The Hyper Express is pretty juice. Every time you hit one of these thresholds in item level, you get materials to help you continue on your journey. And you will also get all of these things at the end. These, chat loves to type these, when you complete it, which is also going to help you beyond 1445. We're also expecting now another one to take place on May 10th. So you're going to have the Story Express, which I just showed you a second ago, that will help you from level 0. You're going to get some free character boosts for just playing the game that's built into the game by default. So you can change or select, you know, a different class if you didn't like the one that you leveled, essentially. And then when you get there, you'll have this. And then on top of that, if you want to do another one with maybe one of those free boosts that you got, May 10th, you'll get another one. So making and choosing your class is pretty difficult in Lost Ark. But with this summer, you have one right now, you'll have one May 10th, and then you're going to have one in August. So you'll have a lot of time this summer to make a bunch of different classes and see what you like to play. Okay? While you're doing this, there's a lot of questions on how you might get some extra materials. Okay? And what this game doesn't do a good job of telling you is that there's been things in the game for quite some time that help you in your progression just by default that you may have not ever already claimed. Okay? So the first one early on is going to be Anguished Island. No one ever does this anymore, but it's a quest chain down here. That when you go to the island, you do a quest chain and it unlocks a dungeon at the end, and you can do this dungeon. It's daily. It's daily for this one. And there's these little tokens that you get that you can exchange at a vendor for some baby materials, but it will help you if you need a little bit, like armor crystals, weapon crystals, and some other leap stones. But this is more going to help you around 1370. However, there's also an Omnium Star that you want to collect. Now, there is, while I'm showing you the Omnium Stars, I'm going to link this guide for you. It's Max Roll Fast Track to Tier 3. Okay? This guide right here, I'm going to link it in the video. This is something you can do on your free time when you're bored. It kind of walks you through all of these like islands that you would go to, but these islands are going to be there for you to get songs that will help you unlock horizontal progression. Okay, you also can type in something like Max Roll Giant Heart Guide, and it just tells you how to do it. So all of these collectibles, when you're bored, you'll be able to see which ones are important for you by pressing Alt-L, right? And it opens up this menu here. And you can see the rewards from them, and they're going to give you skill point potions that you'll want to collect. And then you're like, well, how do I get these giant hearts? Just Google max roll giant heart guide. The same goes for, just go through all of them and see what's worth it for you. Essentially, you just want the skill point potions. The rest of them, honestly, are dog shit. It doesn't really matter. Runes can be nice if you're bored, but you really want to get just all of the ones that at least have skill points. And this is going to be something that's good for you in the free time when you're bored as a new player. Okay? Skill point potion. Getting some runes might be nice as well. Skill point potion. Okay? You can work on these in the meantime. No one can stop you from doing that. Now, continuing forward, there are some vendors that I mentioned. Anguished Island, by the way, the reason why I mentioned that is it's going to give you one of these collectibles that will help you, right? That daily that you get as a vendor also has one of those collectibles that you'll want for a skill point potion. So hopefully we're not falling too off track there. The next thing I want to show you is going to be not Anguished Island, but it's going to be South Vern. So again, you can Google South Vern Chaos Line Guide. When you go through the game, as you're reaching around the 1400 item level and you're doing that story express, you're going to unlock South Vern. And in South Vern, there's a daily right here. It's a weekly, it's a quest. And that also has a vendor with a ton of materials in it that will help you in your progression. So you're going to want to unlock this once you've done South Vern and use that for a ton of mats. Okay, it's a good chunk if you're new. And you're going to want to clear out that vendor and get everything that you can from it to help you in your progression. So that's, again, something that you can do in your free time to get extra mats that no one can stop you from doing. There's no party required. You can just do it in your own time. So you're going to do that, do Anguished Island. Then after you, again, you're going to go through that zone anyway because the Story Express guides you through that zone. Okay? So you'll see it. Just make sure you unlock that little quest over there and unlock it. The other thing right here is going to be the Thronespire. Okay? The Thronespire is basically like this a tower-esque thing where you go through each level and you get a bunch of materials that help you in your progression, silver materials. The one thing that you want to know about Thronespire is you don't have to do each floor individually. You essentially can just go to the hardest one that you're able to complete. You'll obviously not be able to complete like the max difficulty, but you can try your best to clear as far as you can. And if you do 4, you get everything below it. So you don't have to do each at a time. This is a fat ton of mats for, again, a new player that's getting into the game trying to progress your first character. And with that, you should be able to get your character through that express event, okay? That's going to help quite a bit. Also, there's 2 other vendors that I want to show you. These are going to be a little bit more in the end game thing that you're going to have to get into a raid to do. And I know you're probably saying, well, how do I get into raids? There are a couple learning group discords that you can find on the internet that a lot of people don't know about. I'm currently trying to see if I can get Amazon to add it to their official Discord, but I'll have the links to those in the description so you can check out those discords, or you can check out my stream or someone else's stream like DatMods. He's doing a lot of learning groups as well. If you're not into the stream thing, I get it. Those discords have learning groups that are going on and they should help you. When you clear those raids like Clown and Belshazzar, you get these tokens and you can exchange, again, these tokens for additional materials that you need, similar like the last other vendors that you saw a second ago or those other activities. Same shit. You turn these in and you get a bunch of materials. You also get these engraving books. The Thronespire gives you engraving books. You get engraving books from the Anguished Island. It's going to be really helpful for you to complete. The last 2 things I actually want to talk about, again, if you're a new player, really quickly, there's all these other things, but you'll figure that on kind of as you play the game. Challenge Abyssal, always match make this, always do this. It's going to give you cards, but it has a chance to drop a legendary selector pack. And although this legendary selector pack may not be worth it to you really, and you can't afford it, the thing is people bid on it. And more experienced players will bid on these. And if you're one of the people in that group, they'll bid on it, make sure it's the legendary selector. That goal that they bid for it to make sure they get it at the end will be dispersed amongst the group, and you can get a couple thousand gold if that ever drops, and that's going to be really helpful for you as a new player. So always match make these. They're looking for you to match make them. Don't worry. They want you to sign up for this because they know you don't have a lot of gold, and that means less competition on the card pack if it drops. But for you, you just kind of sit back and collect the free gold. This might be a good gold source for you if it ever drops. The last thing I want to talk about is something that I literally never do. So do as I say, not as I do, because I don't want to do this shit on my stream, is life skilling. Okay. Life skilling early on is going to give you a lot of gold if you level it up. Okay. you have a life skilling bar that you can progress. And as you progress with your life skill energy, you get these potions as well that you can use. I believe you might get some from the Story Express. Let's see if you do. You do. This is going to make it so that you get extra materials and XP. So you're basically getting double the materials and you're leveling up faster. And you don't have to drain. It takes you less time to drain this bar. You want to make sure this bar is filled. You can go out and excavate. People know excavating is a great source of gold. It's the most efficient, most effective way of getting gold. But it's a little bit more work. And if you have to go to a certain area and find a guide and figure out how it works. Whatever. There's tons of life skilling. Fishing is probably the most AFK one, but it's a little bit boring for some people. But everyone needs life skilling materials to craft these materials in your stronghold called fusion material, right? And they're going down, but it's still a good source of gold because people need less of them. More people are now doing life skilling, so the price is going down. And so you can craft these, and if you can't even afford to craft them, you can sell just the raw material just for some early gold for yourself, okay? You can just sell the raw material itself if you can't afford the actual crafting of that honing material I just showed you, right? You can just sell these materials. Now, if you're thinking to yourself, well, wait a minute, I need these though to push my character. My advice to you is that pushing your character over time only gets easier, meaning the material costs of items over time, it will go down. So the longer you wait to actually push, the easier and cheaper it becomes. However, that early game gold, you can use that gold to get the other things that you might need that's more important to you because that's more permanent, right? You keep these forever, and that can be things like gems, right? You're going to get free gems from the Hyper Express and everything, but my point is getting those more permanent things for you is going to be much more effective. Right? Using that gold early on to get the things that you're going to need long term is better than just item level, because item level over time, the honing gets easier. They nerf it. It's always better to kind of wait to push, right? Yo, really quickly, one last thing. There's also a thing in the game called gold islands. Okay, gold islands are a source of earning gold, right? When these islands come up, they can give you runes, silver, card packs. These are pretty nice, but sometimes they can offer gold, and you can check them. I'm going to go wide harder for you boys. They will also pop up on the left over here. So when there's a gold island available, you want to make sure you don't miss it. And again, you can just Google Gold Island Guide, Lost Ark. They come up on a timer, and there's opportunities to get a nice little chunk of gold that will help you out. Remember, when you're just starting out, you don't need a lot of gold because they've taken out the need for gold in the early honing. So you don't actually need a lot of gold. And they're going to make it easier also incoming May to get to 1460. It won't cost any gold either. You might just need a little bit of gold for some of the materials if you're short. But again, I gave you a lot of resources to get materials. Last thing though, I forgot to talk about the Una daily, right? There's the Una daily. So Una, if you press Alt-J, is a daily system, okay? And a lot of people will do select dailies. You're going to have to do the daily once. And again, I keep saying this, you can just Google the daily guide, Lopang, Lost Ark Lopang guide, and you'll find tons of stuff out there. There are some select dailies that people will use. You're just going to go through them. A lot of people do the dailies in Phaeton, which are just Leapstone dailies. Once you've done them, right, these right here, once you've done them, you don't have to technically go back and clear it again if you have any of these instant complete tickets that the game gives you from event vendors and things like that. When you do these dailies and these weeklies, again, a lot of these are like clear a boss rush. You can matchmake that, do a certain amount of chaos legends, guardian raids, whatever. You get these tokens, and if you clear all of you can fill this all the way up. And if you do your dailies and your weekly quests, they give you materials and silver that you need, mats that you need. You can go over here and exchange your tokens for these large gold chests. Try to always claim the large chests. Save up for the large chests, better value because they can proc a special gold bar that you'll probably never get a giant gold bar, but if you do get one, hallelujah. And the last thing, I keep doing this. There's so much. Okay, my whole point is, as you can see right now, the game can be super overwhelming because there's so many ways to earn materials and rewards, especially as a new player. There's a lot of things that I'm gonna leave out in this video, like the guild vendor, the PvP vendor. But again, let's just start small. And these are the crucial things that you don't want to miss. The event vendor. There's always an event going on in our version. Every time. There's always an event. And right now we have the Naruni Racing event where you go to this guy. And when you do your dailies, your other activities in the game, or you sign up for the race event, right? That takes place on a timer. You can see it right here. We're going wide hardo. You do this, you get some of these, it's a little racing event that will pop up on this timer, and you do a little fun mini game. You get these tokens, and these tokens will can be exchanged for a good chunk of mats, which again, if you're looking at, this is 80 bound leap stones, which is a lot. You're also getting around 20,000 shards. You can get Fions if you need any amulets. Silver, it's like 1 million silver a week, which is kind of a lot if you're a new player. There's a lot of stuff. Pirate coins that you can exchange at the pirate merchant outside over here to get extra materials. Again, I know that's a lot, but I just want to keep this as condensed as possible because these are the main things that you need and the main things that people use. Those are the things that I would actually do if I was a new player. I would make sure I don't miss any of those activities and take advantage of your life scaling early, okay? Level that up. Work on your stronghold, do that, and do the activities in the game like your horizontal or your Thronespire that I showed you, the South Vern thing. Do the Anguished Island, the things that no one can gatekeep you on, so you can generate as much stuff as you can and worry about that stuff later, right? That's what I would do because your progression could be a lot faster that way, so you're not just sitting around wondering what you should do. Anyways, that's the quick little tutorial video for you new little Mokokos out there. There's a ton of stuff coming out this summer that'll make your journey a lot easier. Links to all the stuff that I think I mentioned down below should be in the description if Recall can get it there. And yeah, say goodbye, chat. Say bye to the little cute Mokoko, give them a kiss. And listen, by the way, before we leave, there are a lot of people in this game that are honestly down to help you, I promise. You'll find them in the Discords and things like that. There are tons of people in the game that don't mind helping someone out. Don't ever buy a bus. Find a learning group. Ask for some help. People will help you. Don't buy those things. All right, guys. Love you guys. Peace.